After a ton of competition, only 2 teams remain. G2 Esports, Movistar KOI, and ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from getting into picks and bans for Game 1 in this fearless best of 5. I'm Drakos, joined by Dagda for his first final cast ever, none other than Jackspectra, to witness this electrifying matchup. And boys, I'd love to preamble more, but we're already in the thick of it.
Man, I'm just so excited, and I really hope that Movistar KOI has been able to take some learnings from the last time facing G2, and they can give us a really, really good final.
Yeah, it definitely feels like already they have taken some learnings, at least taking that Pantheon off the board. This has been such a staple for G2, especially when you look at things like the Warwick that can be taken into that top side for Broken Blade, and I think there's going to be a little bit of focus on that top side as well.
I'm also very surprised here that G2 ended up banning out the Senna, which was something that they really liked the first pick. They had high priority on it, but maybe they don't want to do that Senna Smolder trade that Supa seemed to like, or they just have something else up their sleeve.
Obviously a long series, more chances to bring the Senna out later, but for now, yeah, a bit of surprise in the early bans. Vi also taken off the board. Elyoya, of course, prolific on the champion. Lots of priority junglers, specifically 3 already taken off.
And this is where I get curious if we get the Varus ban or not, because I feel like that's just going to be first rotation immediately. Not only because it's incredibly strong, but because it has to be a takeaway from Myrwn and Supa, but it means that Rumble is going to be left open, so you end up kind of trading some of these big power picks over.
It's also a pick that Hansama has looked fantastic on. He controls the lane so well, gets that mid prio, but it ends up getting taken away by MKOI.
And also, Broken Blade, a lot of criticism thrown his way for not playing the Rumble. It is available. It feels like the most obvious first pick in this context, but do they want to take it? No, instead the Taliyah, that utility, that supporting role for Caps.
Especially since Myrwn has shown he has the Galio in his back pocket. That's kind of been the special pick that Broken Blade has had into the Rumble for such a long time, but now they start to creep into everyone else's play patterns, it makes it a little bit more difficult to go for that. So, we'll beat the Taliyah for Caps, and he has looked fantastic on that in playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious now if MKOI want to take kind of the gambit and take the Rumble themselves, or if it'll be kind of a chicken situation where neither actually want to take it and they just end up dropping it completely.
I wonder if it's just the Xin Zhao. I mean, you've already got the Ahri, Xin Zhao, set yourself up for a very strong jungler, and something that you can look to skirmish early on, because that has kind of been where MKOI have found their success, is getting these early leads through that mid jungle at the moment.
Yeah, I love seeing Jojo on this type of proactive mid laner that can move around, create fights, and just make things happen on the map. He looks so good on it.
Yeah, and I think one of the best games he's had this entire year in the first series versus KC was on that Ahri, so bringing it out again alongside the Xin. Incredibly powerful mid-jungle pairing. Do G2 want to respond with jungle of their own? Perhaps early lock-in on support or AD. They opted for blue side. Surely they have something prepped here, saving those final 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, you can either go for something in the AD carry role if you want to, but I imagine they will just try and take jungle, more than likely support, and then you can always leave Broken Blade to that next rotation, but there it is, the Wukong going to come on through.
Yeah, and I feel like SkewMond has been great on this Wukong. Yike as well had a great Wukong performance against Fnatic, and it's just been a champion when you have this sort of jungler that loves to clear and has really good efficiency like SkewMond does. I think it scales so well. You get that level 6 spike, you have incredible fighting power, but what MKOI has is a much better early game skirmishing, so I want to see them try to abuse this Wukong a little bit early on.
Neeko now locked in after yesterday. A lot of questions on people's minds for who is this a flex pick? Haven't checked the solo queues, but obviously yesterday Myrwn was the one to bring it out top lane. Is still an incredibly powerful early support lock if they do want to put it there.
I think it is just going to Labrov though. It's something that it's like, hey, whatever engage support you take just has a terrible time against it. Yep. And already you're kind of looking at, well, we've gotten mid jungle already there, so we're not going to get some sort of engage coming through from that jungle role. And realistically, they're going to want Myrwn on something that's a bit more of a bruiser carry like this Gwen. So it means that Alvaro kind of just ends up in a bad matchup regardless.
And Myrwn, I think, looking for a bit of redemption on the Gwen. While in the ERLs it was an iconic pick, you've talked about it a ton, Jax. It's not a pick that has shown up as good on stage, has not found that same consistency, even when he's had those individual gold leads or the support from the team.
It's been surprising for me because I know how good he is on this pick, how comfortable it is for him, but he just hasn't found that laning success that you've really wanted. But now you have the opportunity to ban out 2 top laners with this Gwen pick and hopefully set up for a good matchup.
Yeah, the Warwick going to be taken away. I think you have to ban the Jax as well. Giving that to Broken Blade just sets up G2 for such a strong side lane threat, and you already have fantastic engage to set up for a Jax in skirmishes too. So I imagine that's it, and there it goes.
I would love to see Broken Blade play something like the Akali that we saw Kana play. I think it's fantastic into the Xin Zhao as well. Very little tools for him to deal with him, and it's just a matchup where if you know how to play it as the Akali, you can really snowball.
Yeah, we saw a lot of highlight moments in the series yesterday. Rell going to be banned now, limiting the pool, showing us that the Neeko most likely is going into the support position. Obviously not great into the Gwen either, so don't want to lock it in too soon.
I'm curious. I think you just end up going support here for Alvaro, and then you last pick ADC, because you kind of know, I mean, it's like 99% this Neeko is going towards the support role, unless enemy team has a Myrwn of their own.
Which, to be fair, if any other top laner in our league is going to cook, it is BB.
I do like the Xayah pick here, though. Already you're seeing a lot of MKOI want to go forward, but very little safety for the backline. So already having something that has that innate safe self-heal, plus sets up for an easy Rakan on this 5th rotation as well, I think is putting yourself in a pretty good spot here as MKOI to keep Supa safe.
The thing is, you're playing against the one player in the LEC who actually is willing to pull out the Caitlyn. And Caitlyn Neeko into this Xayah is a death sentence early game. So I would love to see how someone pull that out. I think regardless of what Alvaro picks, they're going to have a tough laning phase unless Elyoya can cook up some crazy ganks.
And I think G2's composition overall just feels very stable, especially if this Kalista is brought out as well. You've got the Wukong scales well into the later game. Gnar for these solid side lane, solid team fights. MKOI, on the other hand, you really need that Xin to get going. You need that Ahri to get going. Myrwn kind of the backup, the insurance alongside Xayah, but I don't know about you guys. Alvaro getting out of lane. It's always been so important for MKOI. Can you do that against the Kalista Neeko?
I mean, it's a very tough matchup. I love MKOI's comp if you get to that 20-minute stage where you can just have the Ahri, the Xin Zhao, whoever starts a fight, and everybody just follows up. But the problem is, you're looking at mid lane who's going to lose prio, bot lane that's going to be struggling, and sure, it's a Wukong who can't punish that much, but we've seen Hans Sama on these lane bullies before, and he dominates.
Yeah, I think this is where, for G2, playing around that bottom side is going to be incredibly important. The only issue is SkewMond being so significantly weaker than the Xin Zhao in the early stages. It might give you that opportunity to try and play into the 3v3, but even then, it is still very tough against Neeko and Kalista. So I think it's going to be work cut out on both sides to try and keep this bot lane from just blowing up, and then see if you can hit that spot where you're fishing for early skirmishes as MKOI, but kind of waiting for that post-6 skirmish for G2.
Going to be something we have to track. Support champion pool, also something in Fearless, just keeping in the back of my mind. Already 2 taken off the board, 2 pretty powerful ones as well. The Neeko and Rakan for Alvaro, 2 of his best picks. Need to see how his impact shifts, changes over the course of the series. First drafts, some early game power on both sides. Strong lanes though from G2 might mitigate that Xin Zhao Ahri pairing.
Overall, I think MKOI got what they wanted. They just need to survive the early game, and then in the mid game, they'll thrive. I'm excited to see if they can do it.
Pressure on them. All about the mid game, all about surviving early on. Who will draw first blood in the series? LEC Spring Finals, G2 versus MKOI. And as hype as it is, as incredible as the atmosphere is, I don't think anyone's killing each other in that place. I think we're going to have a couple minutes. First game of any series is always a little bit tame. Now, that's not always true for G2 or MKOI, but given the spam...
So there's what Myrwn learned. He immediately took the haunted Galio face from the last time so he could spam at game 1 instead of game 2.
Mind game strategies. You guys think League is a game about champions. No, it's about knowing your opponent. Opposition.
Well, for me, this game, 2 lanes that I really want to focus and track is top lane and bot lane. Bot lane, in the context of if Supa and Alvaro can survive, it spells great for the series. If they can actually go against Hans Sama on his Kalista, one of his favorite picks, and do well, I'm really confident in Supa and Alvaro's ability to withstand G2's bot lane throughout the series. And then Myrwn on the Gwen, right? We criticized his laning phase. Now Broken Blade has the counter pick. We'll see if this Gwen blind pick was a good decision or a mistake.
Yeah, it's a damn good question, right? Hans Sama's Kalista, a terrifying prospect. Whenever you have these lane bullies, Labrov also with that ranged option. The other thing I want to draw our attention to, we'll wait for a little bit of level 1 trading, is jungle, right? You talk about Elyoya, he's known for a couple of champions. I think the Xin most certainly has to be one that we track. 5-1 on it overall, incredible KDA. This is a champion where if anyone can make an early game impact, it is him. We might need to wait for the mid game, but we might not. He's always so good at finding those angles.
But it's been so good at finding those angles alongside Alvaro, right? So having him being able to support the Xin Zhao, saying, hey, I'm going to set you up for an engage, and then you follow up with that DPS, and being able to find those early skirmishes. A lot towards Jojo and kind of in and around it, like including that trio in the scrap. But I don't know if this time around it's going to be as easy to try and get Alvaro into those, because a lot of the time you are just going to have push for G2 on that bottom side. So I want to see how does Elyoya open up this bottom side of the map and start to unlock Alvaro as his partner in crime to move around the map.
I think a lot of it has to do with playing through mid. You ideally, as the Sinsao here, want to try to put pressure on Caps. Caps is well a player. If he gets shut down, G2 look like a completely different team when he's not unlocked. So I want to see Elyoya try to put a lot of attention towards there. Then Jojo can start to hover down both, and then everything just kind of solves itself.
Yeah, Caps, of course, has the moniker of being the GOAT for a reason, right? This is a guy that feels like some days he can just wake up and decide to win a championship. And
but Elyoya is going straight bot.
Elyoya is on the way bot. Hansama is perhaps overstayed. Wind becomes lightning. He hops right into it. The angle's good. Hansama taken down. First blood for MKOI.
And Elyoya dodged all the wards that G2 put and caught them completely unaware and gets first blood already.
Yeah, great job. Immediately clears his top side, ignores everything on bot, just runs into that bottom side to catch Hansama and Labrov before they can crash the wave. And that's exactly what we needed to see out of Elyoya if he wants to try and stabilize this bot lane and get MKOI into a good position.
And if Supa can if they can crash this bot wave and get a good base off, this is so damn good for this Rakan. Although Alvaro, as long as he gets this recall off,
gonna finish.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a Rakan special. Any other champion, he's gonna get taken down.
Nicely done though by MKOI on the bottom side. So now in a position where Elyoya is going to transfer that up towards the top side, get his Scuttle Crab. SkewMond has managed to clear all of his camps, so we'll get a slightly faster reset, but there's nowhere really on the map that he can have that input. So Caps, you can see, going to place a ward just to try and spot out exactly what Elyoya is up to.
I think the good news for G2 bottom lane is they still have Flash, and overall I think they're still probably the stronger 2v2.
Oh, killed it.
Oh, they're swapping already.
There, Elyoya on the way and waiting for the Unravelers as long as he can. Flick back comes in from Caps. Elyoya once again taking his time when becoming lightning. Naku going through. Caps flashes. One more auto!
Elyoya's going wild in this early stages. Alvaro sneaking into mid lane, using that timer he had, and sets up perfectly for 2 early kills now.
And you were right, Drakos. This Zhao is looking insane. Elyoya is everywhere he needs to be. He's snowballing mid and bot, which is exactly what we wanted. And they're swapping already to get themselves out of this hard bot lane matchup. I love what we're seeing from MKOI.
Yeah, Elyoya is not taking any prisoners today. He has been denied 2 championship titles by G2. Every time he's faced them in a finals, they have denied him that gold medal. But coming out here looking strong in game number 1.
I mean, it's an excellent point, Rob. Elyoya, an impressive pedigree in finals, one of the top players in the region for a long time, but every time he's won, it has not been against G2. Looking to reset the script, reset expectations today. Just a couple kills, so I won't get ahead of ourselves, but this is the early game you expect when you lock in a champion like Xin, and it should have been way harder to get this done.
But I think it's just great because not only do you get the kills, you also get to rotate Supa and Alvaro out of what was a pretty stinky matchup for them. So they just get to move up towards this top side, keep themselves in good shape, and now Alvaro already roaming towards mid as well, but G2 want to look at a dive.
But Elyoya is here, he's in the right place, he's covering.
Myrwn taking his time, trying to wait out the Shroud.
Caps is around as well.
Spending a lot of time, but there's no real other wave.
It's a great cover by MKOI.
Jojo on the way down. Not a lot lost. BB not going to lose any pressure on the top side of the map. There's no counter punch. Both sides just matching each other.
Really good patience on both sides. So you have G2 going for the dive. Elyoya doesn't show until the dive is actually started. And you can kind of see G2 get cold feet then. Alvaro spotted on mid wave as he's making his way down. Jojo had also started to roam towards that bottom side. So G2 call off the dive and works out perfectly for Myrwn now as he's able to get all the CS, or at least that experience from the CS in this bottom side.
Yeah, I'm incredibly impressed by Elyoya. He's at the right place at the right time with such intelligence, as you said, not to show, but still G2 has to respect it, but that way Elyoya doesn't waste any time. But now, Broken Blade.
Supa, Broken Blade, good damage. Maybe don't have to go for the solo kill, but barrier is used. Another rock thrown, but will not connect. Supa in a tough spot. Luckily for him, no one else from G2 is in the area. Mini are going to come through, and nice bit of pressure from BB is at least able to crash that wave.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be something that continues, right? As you look at Jojo constantly having that shove in mid, it makes it a little bit more difficult for Broken Blade to actually really put threat on towards Supa, and may actually be under a little bit of threat himself as they step forward, but I think it's going to make it a bit difficult.
Myrwn staying for a bit of time. Using the ulti for a bit of extra sustain, waiting as long as he can to use the missile finally, but he's out of mana. Ulti coming out from Jojopyun, Caps getting lower. Wave on the way in, it's going to make it harder to try to find a kill. Cooldown's not there, does force Caps out of lane. His TP not quite up yet, so likely that Jojo can't crash the wave.
But now Jojo has no ultimate for the for the grubs here, I mean. And SkewMond is just starting the Drake already. They can both do this dragon, and SkewMond can be in time to contest the grubs.
Also, you had a quick invade coming through from Elyoya and Alvaro into that top side with a vision almost immediately cleared out thanks to Broken Blade as well. So not really able to establish anything off the back of that old trade in the mid wave. But Caps also hasn't leveled his ultimate yet, so holding on to that in case he needs it for a quick escape. So was always pretty safe in that mid lane trade.
Man, it feels like we're off to such a fast-paced game here, and I absolutely love it. Objectives already being taken, and I think we're gonna have a grub fight here.
Probably going to be the setup. TP down, though, from Broken Blade. Myrwn has also used it, so likely a 4v4 on the top side if it will come through. Credit to SkewMond. Got the Drake in that early exchange. Getting 2 objectives would be crazy.
Broken Blade is fighting hard on this bottom side, though. If Myrwn could get that crash, there's a potential that he could roam towards mid and help kind of cover for this Void grub take. But at the moment, not quite able to do so. Broken Blade kind of holding in a position that Myrwn has to stay on that bottom side.
The worry I have now for MKOI is Ahri still has no ultimate. G2 will get pushed on this top side. I think it's hard for them to really try to re-enter here. Rakan still no level 6, which will be so pivotal for this fight. I think they have to drop it, but maybe they want to contest the last 2.
Yeah, well, the power of the G2 bottom lane was somewhat muted by the early exchange. This Kalista Neeko still so oppressive, getting that prio, setting up for easy objective access. G2, it seems like the logic is, hey, they got 1, that is enough. They don't want to overcommit to the play, potentially put themselves face first into the Xin that's looking pretty powerful.
But Jojo's ultimate's about to come off cooldown. That's all that MKOI are really playing for here, just trying to buy that time. And I think G2 kind of realized a little bit of a bluff on the timing, but still don't want to tango with Jojo when he has it available, so they're going to back away.
Exactly, but it's actually SkewMond, while they're having this standoff, that's able to clear his topside camps, while Elyoya has his botside camps up, so he's left in kind of a bad situation where he just needs to wait, and now he's actually decided to fold and go for SkewMond's botside camps, which means 3 grubs for G2.
Excellent position to be in, especially with the side lane threat that the Gnar can provide. If he can keep any advantage going. Right now it's just 100 gold lead. We'll see what it looks like. We need game 5. Hey, I want game 5. Sadly, it's not up to the 3 of us or any co-streamer or anybody else. We got to see if both teams have it in them.
What if we ask really nicely?
Well, I tried.
We need more signs like that, and then they'll do it.
Yeah. Everyone puts a game 5 sign. I think they're contractually obligated to give it to us. But at this point in the game, MKOI off to a decent start with kills we didn't really expect them to get, holding on to about 1,000 gold, but losing out pretty hard on the objectives. Being behind in Drake's might put them in a tough spot. Broken Blade stuck in mini. No rage stacked. If they go fast here, it's so tough for him to do anything.
Caps is hovering.
Mist coming out. Caps on the way, and they want to burst through Broken Blade. Quick hop over, but he doesn't quite get out. He doesn't get the double hop. And he loses his life. MKOI, excellent dive.
Yeah, Elyoya just waiting with that wind becomes lightning until Broken Blade committed with the hop. Immediately cuts him down where he stands. And again, Elyoya has just been everywhere in this early stage. The fact you also get the ultimate from Caps to try and protect his top laner means that nullifies a lot of the pressure he can have on the map as well.
Yeah, and Elyoya is just playing so wonderfully at the right place at the right time consistently here. The bright side for G2 is that SkewMond's been able to take both the first Drake and the first 3 grubs, and he's still keeping up in CS while clearing a little bit slower.
And we know the Wukong is going to be terrifying. Labrov closer to level 6. A lot of engage potential here in the next objective fight for the side of G2. Haven't really been able to bring it to bear quite yet. Let's keep an eye on Hansama. Small gold lead does mean he's probably likely to hit his first completed item ahead of schedule. Could lead to a fight for G2 that's pretty favorable.
Elyoya is a monster right now, though. With that Sundered Sky, I don't see that G2 can win any sort of skirmishes if Elyoya is involved.
Yeah, especially when Alvaro can play off mid-wave here, hit level 6, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just immediately try and play off of Myrwn on the bottom side. I think he's aware that something might be happening, but you kind of need Alvaro 6, there it is, and now they're going to be able to link up.
Elyoya spotted. Probably couldn't clear out the Spectre as well, but they have cleared the last little bit of vision in the center of the river. Neeko clone luckily dancing its way up. We'll spot them.
Now my crucial question is if SkewMond can get this Trinity Force before the Drake spawns, but it doesn't look like it. And if I'm G2, I think I need to drop this dragon because Ahri completed item, Zhao completed item. And those 2v2 are just going to be so damn strong. But Broken Blade
Ulting. He immediately backs off the second Jojo ult. He knows he doesn't have kill pressure unless there's a big mistake. And there might be a big mistake. That's a big house! Going in with the boomerang. Surely, oh, there's no way. Wanted to chase it. Jojo.
Wait, Caps?
Caps is here.
Still flash for Jojopyun. walking away. Doesn't, again, want to overcommit here. Doesn't have ulti, so likely would just be a flash for flash trade. Desperately wants to hold on to his.
Still, though, getting that ultimate out from Jojo is pretty nice right before this objective starts. Now, you still have TP, which Jojo may need to use immediately to the top side because they're all collapsing. They think they can get caps.
Cap's in trouble. He needs to ulti out.
Alvaro can just go for the charm, take his time. Knockback is there. Caps flashing over the wall. Supa, does he want to flash follow? Doesn't seem like a great angle. Labrov on the way alongside Hansama to cover. It's Supa who may have overstayed. Supa going up in the air. The feathers flying, getting pulled right back. But Caps the extra move with feature heal, keeping him standing. G2 retreat beautifully. And KOI not able to find that crucial target.
And it's a slight misplay by Alvaro there. He doesn't fully reach Caps with the ulti and the W. I wonder if he had flashed before. He probably could have reached Caps and actually taken him down. But it ends up just being Caps flash for Alvaro flash.
He just couldn't follow up. Caps just about got that unraveled earth down as Alvaro got onto him with the charm. So no follow-up from the Zhao, but
Jojo level 10, no walls. Hansama already done. He fails to flash over the wall. Averting your eyes. G2 find the kill. Jojo can't even get a flash out.
He got over the blue wall, but not that wall. A little unfortunate for Jojo. As now Alvaro and Elyoya need to try and work their way back in towards his top side because it's going to be a good amount of gold that's being funneled into Hansama. Going to get the wave, doesn't get the plates as G2 don't overextend, but still nicely done by G2.
I love this tempo play from G2 here. Just immediately recall. Going to send Hansama now probably down towards this dragon and play for that. I think if they can stack Drakes in this game, it's a wonderful, easy to execute win con.
100% with Kalista behind them makes a lot of sense. G2 spending a decent amount of resources to attack Jojopyun. They tried once with Myrwn, they didn't like the results. Now instead, focusing a bit on the Ahri. And it is so tough for Jojopyun. He was fortunate enough that when he used the ult previously, he already had the Malignance, but not level 11. G2 can keep chipping away these cooldowns, it'll look good, but it's Alvaro who needs to be a little bit careful. Luckily, the second stack of Battle Dance does take him back to Supa.
I'm surprised MKOI are even putting resources into this bottom side here, because you know that the Dragon is going to be the next thing G2 are looking for, but you have the teleport advantages on G2 at the moment, so even if you try and commit resources to the Dragon, G2 have a good way of responding, though SkewMond now just clearing out his top side, as Elyoya actually going to try and start this up. Are G2 going to try and contest?
I think G2 isn't in time, and due to the fact that Broken Blade is already on top, they're just going to decide to trade Tower for the Drake here, which is going to give them not the feats of strength, just the feats of the tower.
The feat of destroying a tower, the achievement.
Foundation.
But of course, for G2, not too concerned. Happy to make this trade, happy to cross-map because of the dragon that was picked up earlier by SkewMond. When you fall behind a Drakes, we know how tricky it can be to play out macro in the mid-game. G2 not too concerned at this stage, but Hextech Soul means both teams might be a bit more concerned about securing those Drakes in the future.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I do also want to talk about one of the things we mentioned earlier, right? Was that Myrwn on the Gwen has struggled. Yeah. But in this game, we are now at 15 minutes. He's dead even.
It's true.
Doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy.
Played the dive pretty well. The question is, how's he going to play the fights? How's he going to play the skirmishes? Something we'll have to track. We know he has it in him, but still needs to execute at that high level.
The thing I'm seeing, though, is again, like, I kind of just trust G2 more when it comes to the side lane split push. I think when you look towards how they beat MKOI last time, it's a huge amount of, hey, we're going to use this Taliyah and try and find picks on side lanes. We're constantly going to attack Myrwn and co when they're in that position. And I think for MKOI, this is going to really show how much they have grown from the last time these two teams faced off. Because if they're actually able to cover for a lot of these plays and be a bit more aggressive through their side lanes, they stand a chance. But otherwise, G2 just will start to run around the map like they did in Game 1 and Game 2.
We can see here how G2 is so proactive all around the map. Labrov and Caps are pushing in bot while SkewMond and BB are doing Herald. So they force MKOI to come to Herald. Of course, MKOI actually end up getting the Herald, but in return, Caps trying to get this bot tower. They're constantly trying to look for plays everywhere, and that's why it's so much pressure when you play against a team like G2.
Yeah, we've seen MKOI at their best, finding leads, grouping up, forcing skirmishes and fights, but when it comes to playing the whole map, G2 was a tough team to match. So many veteran players, so much experience in these tense side lane situations, and they don't ultimately break the tower there. And losing the Herald is a bit of an oversight. Didn't quite have mid-prio. MKOI are able to move first, but still not doing too poorly. Remember, MKOI were sitting almost 2K gold ahead in earlier stages of the game. Now only 700. A very muted early snowball.
Well, the Hansama here. It's going to be fine.
I don't think MKOI can really go for this. Look at Caps on the map. The second he gets that wave bounced off, he's just leaning over. So he has that level 11, a little bit longer of the Weaver's Wall to get towards mid if anything kicks off. Now that you have push from Jojo, though, he's going to try and group. Caps going to try and match.
find the picks. MKOI made it through the early game, the threat of that Kalista. She's still powerful. There might be an angle. SkewMond already stealing away jungle camps in the meantime.
But I think here you kind of see some of the tendencies that MKOI have. Jojo decides to move all the way to mid rather than just hovering and then getting this bot wave fast, which means now when he moves back to bot, he's actually second to the wave, so Caps gets to push that in. I'd really love to see MKOI be more comfortable with Jojo just fogging rather than moving all the way so that he can actually pressure multiple sides of the map at once.
But if the enemy team says do it, you won't. They really want to do it. They want respect. Committed to the fight. Now, unfortunately, Elyoya had already left trying to pick up some camps, so they're not able to drop the Herald mid lane. Alvaro caught a bit here, but
He's
quite the
forgotten.
damage they need.
Oh, he's used the heal.
SkewMond, I think, faking there with just S-juking, you know, stopping as the Wukong saying, hey, I might be Wing, I might be prepping the ult, so they do at least get the heal.
And they're getting a good amount of control for Caps on this bottom side as well. If G2 can control River, you can see SkewMond starting to lean down towards that bottom side, which means Jojo has to back off the wave and opens up for more River control with a minute 20 until that next dragon. G2 already kind of setting up that first line of wards before they reset and try and get that deeper set in the next couple of minutes.
Labrov playing with confidence. He's got Hansama standing behind him and the luxury of that ult, Fate's Call, to pull him out. You could also see Broken Blade keeping that pressure topside, but playing really cautiously around the wave. Does not want to walk face first into Myrwn, whose ghost is up and ready to go. Jojopyun waiting. Potential for a fast play here. The guys just wanted to cancel it back.
Yeah, MKOI still have that Rift Herald, so I think that's going to be the way that they're going to try and break G2 from opening here, because they've already set up a good amount of vision. Alvaro are going to start to clear that out, at least in that banana brush that's just there, but still I think you can hard force mid as MKOI. The tower's low enough that G2 would need to respond, and then you can retake River. But you can see there, here it comes the move, because Alvaro just going to fish here and see what vision he can get down.
Yeah, I'd love to see Elyoya just put down this Rift Herald on mid, then look to use that to move into Drake at full control, but Elyoya going in already.
Looking at Hansama, Sunder Sky obviously making it so easy to take those short straights as long as there's not a follow-up. Good group. Caps is on the way. He does have ulti, but the tower likely to fall here. Decent chunk, can't quite get it done. Caps not gonna hit the flick back. That sliver of life. Mites. Paying off.
But now MKOI have full control here. Does G2 decide to go for the cross map, or do they try to face check into MKOI's vision?
Rob decided to base check, and it was the wrong choice. Neeko looks like she might just fall. The charm now coming through. Jojo needs one more cooldown, but the Fate's Call is there. G2 will get mid-prio. Broken Blade already on the way down, but Supa started the objective.
I'm very surprised Jojo didn't decide to ulti there. Maybe was thinking about the Kalista ult, so wanted to hold it. Was just happy with the chunk. But overall, G2 don't get the cross map, and they don't get the Drake. Hextech Drake for MKOI.
Even the push in mid didn't really happen. I thought that's what G2 would go for. Just, look, we're going to try and force Jojo to open on mid wave so that then we can now force a numbers advantage in towards River, but don't really get anything with LeBron face checking, and MKOI gets themselves a drag.
Yeah, it's good patience from MKOI. It's good control. They just hold it. They have Jojo sitting there waiting. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with the MKOI we're seeing today.
Definitely good looks, that patience. You see so many people playing around those minute cooldowns in the game thus far. Cap's doing a good job of keeping the side lanes cleared, and SkewMond, despite the kills Elyoya has over him, is keeping relatively close, or was for a while in jungle CS, starting to fall a little bit behind. We know how good the Wukong can be, really cleaning up these team fights, but G2 have not found the angle yet.
Looks like they're just going to try and move in to support Caps on this bottom side. Make sure that he's able to... I thought he was going to stick around to get the tower, but maybe a little bit nervous about an Atacon play on the opposite side of the map, as MKOI are going for reversal on where the lane setups are, with Jojopyun going top, and they're going to just let Myrwn try and open on this bottom side and keep this Ahri close for pick potential around that next big objective.
And Myrwn has 2 items.
Yeah.
I would love to see him try to progress on this side lane, maybe have Elyoya hovering him, put some resources into this Gwen, because she can do so much work right now.
Definitely can. Broken Blade stepping up. Myrwn doesn't want to overcommit without more information, but Broken Blade has to be careful. We saw earlier, once he turns into Mini, if he's sitting under a tower, it's so easy to just force that dive. Gnar not much of a threat, but taking his time, keeping the rage managed. Is SkewMond perfect information on where Myrwn is. Spot him again on the way out.
They have no real information on where Elyoya is, though, because you can see ward here, and also ward here. Kind of keeps you safe on that top side. But on the opposite end, you just don't really have that same luxury for G2. Their wards are much more shallow, so although Myrwn is there, not really certain on whether he's up there alone, but Broken Blade is definitely not alone.
No.
So Myrwn going to have to play it safe.
And good patience from Myrwn to walk up there. Might have lost a few creeps, but waiting until he saw Broken Blade, waiting until the Gnar expires means there's no real threat of a dive Myrwn finding himself caught out by SkewMond and BB. G2 keeping a cautious eye into the river here. Sweeper coming out from Labrov.
The great thing that G2 did now is that they're kind of not letting Myrwn progress at all on side, as he has to play really safe, while BB is the one who can look to group up towards mid now, and maybe G2 can try to start that Atakan.
Also, just splitting up the mid jungle in that situation is great, because SkewMond is protecting Myrwn in case Elyoya shows up, but with Labrov being able to protect Caps, he's able to collect the wave. You don't end up putting that pressure on towards that top tower as well, and it kind of denies MKOI both attacks, and G2 able to sustain the defense and now get themselves onto a nice reset.
And I think if you're G2 right now, you look at the item completions, right? It's only Hans who has a second item fully completed. They're a bit behind if it comes to fighting. Jojopyun, Horizon Focus, double items for the Xin already. Myrwn's looking terrifying. Taking things a bit slower, denying the opportunity to group, denying MKOI the advantage to, or opportunity to push their lead, as you mentioned, is pretty big for them.
I think this is kind of a mistake from MKOI. I really want to see them try to progress the game, because now they actually do have 2 items on SkewMond. I think Broken Blade probably needs 1 more wave. He's about to get a second item too. Caps is at 2 items. They had this 1.5 minute window where they could have tried to force the fight while they were all on 2 items, but now it's even playing field.
And I think a way you can do that is playing off of the mid wave, right? You've already got that tower down, hard force it, and then move into this top side, but they're going for that now, but there's no wave, so G2 kind of in an area to defend, at least their jungle, but MKOI have already got that push, and shall get the top tower.
Getting that much more pressure, continuing to push in, extending the gold lead a little bit, but I think G2 feeling comfortable scaling. Don't want to give up any more towers, but slowing the game down definitely does not hurt.
Myrwn's grouping on mid here again, so I think that's why G2 kind of playing a little bit more defensive and just looking for the poke angle. They'll wait for Myrwn to show back on bot side before they really start to move in towards his top side and establish vision.
Yeah, it's a bit of a ping-pong situation here where, you know, one team pushes in bot and then has a move, and the other team does the same, but Supa here getting a bit chunked. This could be a trigger for G2 to want to start the Atakan, but most likely Broken Blade is just going to go bot, and then the same thing happens again where Myrwn is now the one moving to mid and MKOI get control.
MKOI posturing a bit aggressively. SkewMond maybe hoping to find an angle on his Supa, get a few more cooldowns so they can feel confident starting, whether it's the Baron in a minute or the Atakan. Drake also not too far off, so many options in terms of what side of the map to play to. Again, credit to G2, we talk a lot about their macro game, especially in these positions where they do have strong or at least comfortable side laners. Never giving MKOI the angle.
But it's MKOI, again, with full control of this Drake, and Labrov might be... Oh,
Supa. Barrier goes out, really trying to hold on to any other spells. He's going to be forced to ulti there. And again, this level of patience from both teams in this final, quite impressive.
I mean, it's a nice move from Caps. He doesn't reset on top side, instead just moves mid and catches Supa, who thinks he's entirely safe. Now you're down on 80 carries MKOI, rise the dragon spawns, and I was about to say MKOI can play for Atakan, kind of trade dragon and do a lot of posturing around this mid wave, but that goes out the window with Caps just chunking Supa.
But it's a puzzling mistake from Supa. I'm not sure why he was going towards top side. They have full control of the Drake, and it ends up just being a free Drake for G2 now.
G2 playing for those chunks, really paying off. And we've seen this from Caps before. Goldberg and Odawam, they highlighted, I think you picked the clips out, Jack, where it's just, Caps could recall, he could reset, or he could just keep making plays as long as humanly possible. Now, they're not as far ahead as they were in the example game, but certainly making back-to-back plays there caught Supa at the very least off guard.
And Caps is great at that. He's really good at being unpredictable and catching you off guard when League feels often like a solved game. You kind of know what's going to happen, but Caps is one of those few players that just has this hidden instinct that he can find plays that other people wouldn't see.
Yeah. And Myrwn not wanting to walk up here. BB has kind of closed the gap between them, although Myrwn does now have a needlessly large rod. Hasn't completed Boots 2 yet, but the Gwen will be terrifying in these fights.
Again, though, we're kind of seeing this group on mid play, though, and I think G2 are aware of it, and they're just not really, they're just setting up vision to try and spot it out. I'd love to see Supa push in mid. He's already been able to get some control. Now, obviously, he has to wait for the ult to come back up, but then you can start to lean towards sides and really get the vision control deeper to cut G2 off the map, but it just doesn't feel possible at the moment with the way MKOI constantly keep grouping on mid.
Yeah, I would really like them to try to put some more pressure towards Myrwn's lane here and try to help him progress, because I think they keep going towards Jojo's side, but they can't really start the Atakan, they can't really start the Nash, so they're not really progressing whatsoever.
I mean, we've been locked out. You were talking about it for the first, what, 10 minutes? You're like, oh, it's a bloodbath. No one saw it coming. I think you jinxed it, my guy, because it has slowed down significantly. You mentioned League being a solved game, and it's because of moments like this where it is a game about trading waves back and forth. Now, across the 5 or so minutes of this game state that we've talked about, it is G2 getting a Drake, and it is MKOI getting 2 towers. So it's not completely deadlocked, but maybe not the snowball you'd expect from the lead MKOI started with.
I do wonder now if MKOI can start to think about rushing down this Atakan, because we're already at 27 minutes. Atakan is an objective that's easy to throw at, but when you're in at least 3 items across the board, you do it so fast.
Maybe Supa wants us a little bit more, you know?
I mean, if you get that IE, I think IE spike is a very obvious one to wait for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure with Broken Blade going Mega Gnar there if they would try and lean in towards it, but looks like they just want to try and play for picks off of mid-wave again once they get that pushed in.
You're going back in. Caps on the sideline. Myrwn immediately ulting. Nice sidestep, crucially. Dashing back out. Caps walking away a bit empty-handed, but it appears that MKOI did as well around the Baron pit. But they see 2 members bottom lane. Does this give them the confidence to pull the trigger?
I hope that this was what they needed to start the Atakan, but it's still MKOI playing it very slow and safe. They're just going to try to get this mid-wave prio. Most likely going to have to drop it because Caps is around, but luckily Myrwn doesn't die and they get to outpush top lane.
Yeah, I think even just trying to start Atakan to get TPs at a G2 could have been a win in and of itself, but I think it's been a little too cautious. Now G2 starting to move up here. Jojo
hitting the actual Labrov. Decent chunk before the fight starts. That electrocute proc hurting even through the Celestial opposition, but now it's G2. They know. They've got the tempo advantage. Caps just continues to be committed on the map, pushing out mid already. G2 seem like they're going to get this one for free, but it's on Jojo to disrupt.
And now Myrwn is in the bot lane. He's going to have the TP, but MKOI, they're just way too late. There's nothing they can do here. Maybe it's the fight after.
G2 just one step ahead in the macro game. Now it's about the exit kills. Myrwn, Broken Blade is in Mega Gnar. Charm over the wall does hit him, but right as he ults, now it's Alvaro who's been caught out flashing, trying to get back to safety. He'll do so. G2 walking away, but they already got the objective. It was MKOI who needed to find the kills.
And I can understand MKOI so well. They get Infinity Edge on Supa. They get Rapid Ults on Myrwn. They have these incredible spikes waiting for them in base. But because they take so long, G2 have the opportunity to just rush down the Atakan and there's no fight to be had.
And now you're starting to get 3 items on towards Hansam as well. Terminus picked up on the reset there. So at least with 50 seconds until the Dragon, maybe they can try and use that ever so slightly for the lead. As you can see, a lot of red numbers at the bottom of your screen, that gold advantage in favor of MKOI. But can G2 try and find something special? Can they try and bait a Baron?
And I think it's credit to G2 that a game where MKOI has a 3K gold lead feels dead even in terms of map plays, in terms of trades, getting that Otacon lingering buff. 30 seconds till Drake. Baron is up. Both teams have the potential to take it.
Both teams have incredibly high Nash damage, so controlling this objective is very, very important. As you can see, MKOI putting some vision towards this top side before they enter the Drake.
Caps on the side. Flip back, not gonna hit, but the charm does connect on Caps crucially. MKOI held at arm's length though.
Caps has the TP to try and get back. He can already see he's going to reset in that push. MKOI should be using this to just clear out mid-wave and try and get some deeper vision on this bottom side, because even though MKOI were grouped on mid, they never cleared out or established any vision on the bottom side of the map. The picks, but Myrwn
channeling the back. How does he get out of this one? Good initial damage. Shroud down. Ulti going down. Trying to get a chunk out. Caps going golden. Myrwn trying to snip his way through, but gets nothing. G2 find the pick on the side lane, but it does cost them the Dragon.
But I think he did enough damage. He made Caps so low that now G2, I'm not sure if they can start the Nash. Maybe with the Hextech portals with Caps coming back in. But if it's only Myrwn dying, this is huge for MKOI.
MKOI starting to take back position. G2 haven't started it. It's just Caps walking up. I think he wants to get a good angle for the Weaver's wall, but here comes Jojo.
Jojo on the way in, trying to get mid-push. It's already in their favor. Caps catching that wave for now. Alvaro going over the wall. Caps with the Weaver's wall can arrive any moment. G2 have a man advantage, but they do not have one in terms of health. Elyoya committing onto Broken Blade. Ulti in, trying to find the disengage with the Rob, but the charm is in the midst of the entire team. An excellent flick back from Caps, and Hansama is uncontested. The feathers fly for a moment. G2 forced back by Supa. The threat of 3 items, but it's a close exchange.
Supa tried so hard to get into that fight. The Weaver's wall initially cut him off. He flashes over the wall, but G2 had already done the damage. Jojo and Alvaro had fallen.
And this game is so damn tense, but it's only 2 kills going over for G2, and they cannot do the Nasher unless they want to go right back to it, which I don't think they can. So it ends up being a Drake for MKOI now, and they only need 1 more Hextech Drake to get that soul.
You can see the way Caps was playing this though. The second Elyoya goes down, that ore button is slammed and keeps MKOI out of the fight and separates them. This is where Supa ends up on one side, so as they go forward, he's cut off, but a great ultimate coming through from the Neeko, locks them all down in place. Supa has to go forward, ulting to try and keep himself alive, but there's just too much damage on G2, and now that damage is on the Baron.
Meantime, Baron's being started. Gnar is ready to go. Hansama should be no way, as long as Hansama and SkewMond are playing together, for this to be stolen. But Elyoya wants to make the difference. He wants to get in the pit. The knockback is there. The CC beautifully layered, and now MKOI are forced to try and take a fight. Myrwn versus Hansama, and Myrwn looks like he might be coming out on top of the perfect flash from Hansama. Means the Gwen is now in trouble. Charm going in, trying to find the ball. Hansama running for his life. Knockup is there. They try to find the brick. SkewMond also going to get taken down. It's the Baron, but at what cost?
MKOI managing to take down G2. 3 members drop, but the Baron still in the hands of Caps. But you can see that Red Bull Baron player play in the top left corner, the negative numbers teetering on the edge there.
And G2, they make the classic decision where they try to finish the Nash, but they don't have the firepower for the fight after. MKOI able to take down 3, get a tower for themselves, and they are sitting very, very happy.
You're taking big chunks of damage here. Broken Blade too far away from respawning, no TPs available, so it will not cost them dearly. But again, every wave they can deny from G2 with this Baron buff, with the limited ones they have remaining. Jojo now might be in trouble. Cap's trying to force the ulti. That's the charm. Jojo's, does he still want the fight? Quick dash out. Labrov now on the chase, might try to stop the back, but it's just a retreat from Jojo. Oh, a determined advance from Labrov, however. Jojo finds the charm, finds decent damage. The ult in for Labrov. That's one bloodthirsty support.
Oh my god, Labrov finds him. He hunts him down. But it's going to be probably not much coming out of it. Caps does still have the Nash, but I think he just has to recall. But it's the Drake in 2 minutes. That's really the highlight. Let's look back at this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Broken Blade at the end of going in gets only on towards Elyoya, but Myrwn's already in the back line, so there's no follow-up for the Gnar. Jojo coming over the wall, and Myrwn does drop, but immediately Elyoya and Alvaro see their prize. Hansama is its name. And Supa finishing off the Wukong in the back. Great teamfight execution from MKOI.
And you can see how strong Myrwn is. He just buys so much time, he does so much damage, and crucially, he forces Hansama's flash, which will now not be up for this Drake fight.
It's going to be big, especially as armor penetration also is starting to come through for Supa. We've seen it was Hansama who was playing the Xayah into the Kalista. As you get later in the game, no matter how much you dance around, the crit 80 carries,
they start to do a lot of damage.
You're going to need the fanciest feat we've ever seen.
Also, Ping's just going down onto this ward in the back as well. Jojo with a potential TP ward into the backline if he needs to for this Dragon that's in a minute time. I think MKOI already looking at angles to set up a flank on towards that flashless Kalista.
Might be able to find it. Myrwn's TP still relatively far away, though. It's G2 with TP advantage for now. You mentioned it earlier, but no objective up quite yet. 45 seconds. Sole point for MKOI. Puts them in a great spot. As long as they can push these side lanes out, they can be first on the objective. But of course, the nature of blue side means G2 will always have a way into that pit.
You can see how cautious Jojo is here. As he starts to recall before he pushes out top wave. He's really, really scared. Does not want to be the one to get caught out. But it means that everything is happening a little bit slower than you'd want for MKOI.
Good defensive vision from MKOI, though. They spotted the Caps didn't go to bot wave. Instead, went into this bottom side jungle, which is why MKOI are playing so passive and waiting now for this TP connection to come in from Jojo.
It's G2 with full control, and Caps with control on this Taliyah.
Look, doesn't hit. This might be the sign to go in. Elyoya flanking. He knows the Unravel isn't available. They're going to try to burst through Caps in an instant, but he still goes golden, buys a bit of time. Two-man knockup coming in from Labrov. MKOI now dashing forward. SkewMond denied entrance. The feathers landing perfectly, and Jojopyun amidst the entire team. Broken Blade going to try and turn it back. Jojo now running. G2 a bit on the retreat. A close fight. 1-for-1 thus far. Jungle for top lane, but Broken Blade standing tall. Caps re-engaging. Oh my God! Knocks him out mid-air! Ski shooting and finds the goal!
Making it look easy on the mid-wave. Jojo slamming Caps with the charm. And that's MKOI looking for Hextech Soul. G2 needs to stop it, but they can't.
They can't get the 50-50 now. Elyoya feels empowered. He feels confident. He doesn't need to walk forward here, but he doesn't want to give them anything. He knows they have the edge. He doesn't want to stop this play. Retreat going in. Elyoya walking forward. Broken Blade suddenly feeling confident as the rage starts to sack, but Supa has arrived. The knockup there. But Hansama finds one. They want to burst it before the Gnar comes through. They might not have enough time. The knockback from Broken Blade. MKOI might have bitten off too much, but it's Jojopyun here just in time. The Hextech Soul combined with everything else just barely lets him come out on top over Hansama.
And Jojo is doing miracles here as he survives for so long. Baits in Caps, helps his team secure the Hextech Drake, and even saves his team in this team fight. Oh my God!
Bro, I'm just gonna.
It's a banger!
It's a banger. All I'm saying is, Jojopyun is the Legolas to a team full of gimmies, bro. Do you expect to live here in finals fighting side by side with an NA mid laner? No, but I'll do it with a friend. This man's popping off.
But it wasn't only just Jojo, as you say, it's power along the way, because I also keep my eyes as a Myrwn to go in here, because he dodges the Broken Blade ult on the top side of the fight, but as SkewMond goes in, that charm keeps them all in place. So many of those key ultimates from G2 not connecting in the way they hoped it. How the hell does he get out? Like shield from Alvaro with the battle dance the last second, and then Caps tries to make the play happen, but charm to the face. You get to go nowhere, lads.
MKOI still pushing forward, confident. Myrwn is so damn powerful. G2 playing with caution. And just think, if that fight, if Hansama had flash, it might have been completely different. It is really coming down to the slimmest margins in these moments.
Yeah, because if Hansama could flash on Jojo there, take him down, secure the Drake, this is a really, really tense, close game we have here.
MKOI 4K ahead, but G2 still stalking, still lurking. Myrwn trying to find the flank with the potential for a 5-man Gnar. Always a champion that can change the tide of a game, no matter what the scoreline, no matter the game state.
But that's the thing, right? There's no flash now on Broken Blade, on SkewMond, on Labrov. Those engage tools looking a little bit less threatening on MKOI, and it's kind of on the same as Supa doesn't have that flash to try and escape, but Caps fishing.
Going in, over the wall. Caps, nice patience. Ulti going out though. Myrwn on the chase. Huge damage going through, but he can't quite finish the kill. And now it's Alvaro debating where do they go. Broken Blade knocked out of the fight, gives his life to keep the team standing, but overall, 1 for 1, top for top. But it's MKOI with access to mid. MKOI with more power and the Dragon Soul behind them.
But there's no wave on mid-wave to actually play off of, so at the moment, G2, unfazed. They should be able to retreat and send themselves back, but Elyoya buying space here. What? Do G2 want to go for? No. Double clones?
Double clones, get out.
There's no wave Dagda, but there is a Baron Nashor, and MKOI wanted. Caps is in base here, but G2 are still going to look to try to contest.
Trying to two-man, they just need to keep their eyes on SkewMond, deny him access to the pit, but Alvaro has no ulti. Nice charm coming in. Labrov interrupted, trying to get over the wall. Alvaro now retreating. Hansama in the midst of the team. Elyoya, good initial knockup. Follow-up damage, though, going to start coming through as the ult starts to fade away, but Elyoya is so damn tanky. Labrov going in, he finds 3 with Supa, ready with the reaction speed, finds the auto. Elyoya, perfect flash. Caps finds the 1v1.
How did Caps kill Jojo? I thought it was a free kill.
Yeah, Jojo looked like he was dancing on him, but Caps managing to find it, and now MKOI, they turn back towards the Baron.
But Caps has
don't have
TP.
anything.
Caps has TP.
I think it's too late.
Yeah, Caps has TP, but he doesn't back fast enough. And now all he's got is the TP, the Baron gone, the soul gone, 2.5 minutes till the Elder.
I mean, that was an absolutely crazy one. I need to see what Caps did to Jojo. I need to see it. Let's see it. I mean, it starts off with some brilliant footwork here from SkewMond to dodge the Rakan W. He's buying so much space and so much time. And I thought here, okay, Caps looks dead. Maybe Elyoya ends up falling. But Elyoya is so tanky. But how does he not kill him?
Oh, Zhao, he burns the extra dash too aggressively. Oh, and then he's just right face first. Never been hit in the face with a rock, but I imagine it does not feel very good.
But Caps is here. Myrwn might be in trouble.
Myrwn's certainly in trouble. Not sure if he has the miss. Will finally drop it down. Does not want to switch.
Oh my God!
This is it! The ERL Gwen we finally see on the LEC stage, completely styling him. He's 1-4!
I don't know how, but he's done it, and now MKOI, they see their moment. They're pushing down mid. G2 needs to try and defend, but the base starting to crumble.
And now you lose that pivotal wave clear from Caps. They have Nash, they have Soul. I think they can try to go for the end.
MKOI feeling confident in the push forward momentum from yesterday, powering them up. Some outplays in key moments. Caps 30 seconds away. This could be G2's final hold in game 1.
And keep your eyes on Jojo. He has flash, he has charm, he has the ultimate. He's going to be the difference maker here.
SkewMond trying to go in. SkewMond trying to find the angle. Instant disengage coming in from Labrov. Jojopyun off to the side. Isolating Broken Blade, but he's about to go mega. But no, the Gwen denying him access. A bit of extra healing. MKOI eyes on the objectives. Towers falling, but so are the life bars of MKOI. Supa free access under the objective, but he wants to kill us instead. And they've done it. MKOI in game 1. They're taking their time. They find first blood in the series.
And MKOI are giving us the banger we wanted. What a game 1. Brilliantly played by Elyoya. And such good team fighting overall.
Elyoya smurfing in the early stage, picking up crucial kills to set his team up for success, but everyone stepping up on MKOI to keep G2 in their place.
Certainly are. Incredible stuff from MKOI in game 1, keeping the momentum going. We'll see if they can continue the trend in game 2 or if G2 bounce back right after this.